It's a couple of minutes before the hour. Jim Green joins us this morning, and Jim lives in the area where those fires were ongoing overnight in Sylacauga. And Jim, the good news is it doesn't seem to be any serious injuries there, but it could have been a terrible, terrible situation with the loss of life.
Well, Jimmy, and here is the thing. We're saying there are no injuries, but I've only been actually close to one of the fires. I didn't go seeking them out. Our guys were busy enough, police and fire department. Matter of fact, there were fire departments from Childersburg and possibly Talladega, and I'm sure volunteer fire from around the county.
Everywhere.
Yeah, they were everywhere last night. This was a full-blown, absolute first responder emergency where these guys were really out doing things. I understand there were a total of 5 fires. I actually only saw 2 of those. One was down on at the corner, I think, of Oakland. Now this is the fire on West 8th. This is fairly early. You'll see this fire within a period of maybe 15 minutes fully consume this house. That's the house that was next to Little Paul's, the old Little Paul's there by the railroad track on West 8th Street. Here comes some of the first responders in. I had to step. I guess you noticed that I moved quickly to my left because of this guy. Now there again is another shot, and it gets worse and worse as far as the fire goes. But what I want to say, what a professional job our guys did, and all of the fire departments did. They did an excellent job last night. Now we're reporting, as you said, that there were no injuries. They don't know because nobody's been in and poked through the fire. I was telling you, I had a conversation with a fellow that I know to be homeless here in town a couple of weeks ago. And I asked him the question. I said, how many homeless are there around here? The answer I could pick up from him was a few. That's as close as I could get it. But if there were a few homeless around here, of course, what they gravitate is towards abandoned homes, so they'll have a safe place to sleep. And so we don't know.
Media reports are out this morning that at least 2 people have been arrested or detained for questioning.
Well, when we get to that interview, which I'm going to hold off for a minute or 2, but there may have been more than that, okay? But we do know that they were pursuing one person, shall we say, of interest. And from what I overheard, and that's why I'm not coming out and saying this or that, they knew where this person was, and they had closed in and surrounded the guy. Now, according to people in that neighborhood, there was more going on than just some people roaming around. If we can go to that little quick interview. This lady was a neighborhood lady. Here we go. What you heard?
Me and my son was taking the dog out to walk to let her use the restroom, and there was 4 people dressed in solid black. I don't know if they were male or female, black or white, and they were just running up and down the street hollering. They were just hollering, and then that's when we started hearing the booms. It's right after that.
Okay, and that's just a little quick interview because she had some pertinent information. She said she saw 4 people, that they were running around the neighborhood. Now, I can tell you when I got there, I heard some distant noise that sounded more like a party, people whooping and hollering and everything. Did I get the word whooping? Is that, can I use that on television?
I guess I can.
I did twice. But I heard some noise. There was a lot of fear because of, as I mentioned, the cans cooking off, maybe some small gas explosions, maybe some paint thinner or something cooking off. But there were some explosions. They were small, but they were loud enough that they kind of shook folks up.
And you don't know if there were gas lines that were active in those structures or not. So you mentioned there were 5 fires, and certainly 4 of those are very suspicious. The 5th fire out on Cross Creek Lane, out on near the Arco Dairy area,
Yeah.
it looks like that may be unrelated according to authorities.
Well, I can't picture, because of you got Pine and Oakland, you got West 8th, you got those other areas that are right around there. I can't picture them also going, and this had to take place. I think here's what I think, Jimmy, this is just based on observation. I think the 2 fires, the Pine and the Oakland fire that was further west, actually on West 8th, I think those actually were set first, and then they moved to the locations closer to Norton.
You know, there are, you know this as well as I, there are a number of unoccupied structures in those areas, and apparently there was only one home that was occupied, and the person was slightly injured getting out of there, but only the daylight hours will tell the real damage. If there were people that maybe have been in the house and were sleeping or something, maybe homeless individuals, you never know. And Daybreak will tell more about that this morning. But you have to say that this is something in Sylacauga that we're not accustomed to.
No, and you know, I don't mean to shake anybody up, but this is kind of a terrorist thing. And that's where my mind went immediately.
Well, it terrorizes people, for sure.
That's exactly right. And when it terrorizes people, it's a terrorist act. I don't know if it will be treated that way in the courts, but and again, they were after somebody last night. They had one person identified, and they knew where he was. Now I know that. I'm not going to say how I know that. Nobody told me. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time to find that out. And so we know that this is what went on. This is not hearsay. This is not, it wasn't just one house fire and it's been blown out of proportion. I actually saw 2 of the fires involved, and I had a fireman tell me about the others. So I do know that much.
Well, when number of people have already settled in for the night, and we're fortunate that it isn't worse than it appears to be, even though we've lost those structures and put a lot of people at risk, a lot of our first responders, all our first responders. And but when you look at this whole situation, you think, wow, what are our population? A little less than 13,000 and 5 houses burned in one night. That's very, very odd.
Well, it is, and they to have to call in other fire departments, which I know they did, Childersburg, Talladega, and I believe the volunteer fire departments as well. And I sure don't want to slight them if they were called in. Maybe Fayetteville, maybe Oak Grove, and names that I heard. But I don't know for sure because it was only Sylacauga Fire Department there, and I believe I did see some guys in some other shirts. But it was I only talked to Sylacauga Fire Department.
The residents of that area are not unaccustomed to major fires. You know, we had that one at B.B. Comer back years ago.
Yeah.
We had that one at Avondale Mill.
Yeah.
So it's all in that area right there where these fires are burned. Kind of odd.
It is kind of odd, and I thought when I first saw the smoke welling up, I thought maybe they'd set Busy Corner on fire. But it was that one structure. It's been abandoned for a long time. If folks, if you know, if you've been down that street, you know that when you come to Busy Corner, right before, if you're going west, right before Busy Corner, there is a structure there. At one time, it was almost completely, the grass had grown up so tall it was almost hidden. But the grass had been cut. It was it looked like a home that could be brought back, and it's gone. It's those shots that you see. That's that home, and it really is. It really is a sad day when something like this happens, particularly if it's like the young lady said. And again, I'm not going to identify her. There's no need to drag her into the mess. She is a local lady. She is a resident of that community. I do know her name. I do know where, if I needed to get back in touch with her, I could. But the thing is that we haven't had anything happen. You know, we had the Garris Specialty fire right over here, a couple of blocks over, many years ago. But we haven't had a lot of, and I can't remember people going out, and other than the bridge on Halloween down in the Mill Village, I can't remember any intentionally set fires like this. And this was organized. At one point, early on, there was a car, and I probably need to talk to Sylacauga PD about this. There was a car that sped down an alley through there. I saw that myself. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it was going. But it could have come from one of those fires. I couldn't tell how many people were in it. And I'm not sure. It looked to be maybe a Nissan or a Toyota, or possibly even a BMW. But I'm not sure, because I didn't get a look at the radiator or the grill, so I couldn't really tell. But it happened real fast.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, they were organized.
Well, we will keep on top of this, and approximately 5 house fires, 5 structure fires happened in Sylacauga last night. 4 of those in a generalized local area there.
Within like a 10-block area.
Yeah, and the other out on near Arco Dairy Road, which is probably a couple of miles from the structure fires.
That just doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right.
But 2 suspects, according to reports, have been apprehended. That happened on 4th Street. They were apprehended apparently and taken in for questioning. So we'll stay on top of that. Jim, I always thank you for what you do.
Well,
and,
I saw it, and I knew you guys would want to know, and I knew you guys would want to know. Right. So we shot the footage and got up early this morning. Now we're going to go back to bed for a while. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more Daybreak after this.